BR, we'll assume for the sake of this broadcast that BR is a breast reduction, a bigger op than breast uplift. Yeah, yeah. So basically, they're similar. They're quite similar ops. The skin marking is the same for a breast reduction and a breast uplift. So in those terms, they are similar. And the scarring is the same, although sometimes because more skin is often taken out with the breast reduction, that horizontal scar is often longer, but the actual pattern of scarring is the same. This pattern of scarring is the same for a breast reduction and a mastopexy or a breast lift. So you might think, well, that's similar operations. The difference is with a mastopexy, with a breast lift, you're only taking away skin. Now, breast lift is still quite a big operation because you can't just take away skin and close it because the breast is droopy. So you do have to mobilize the breast. You do have to do some dissection to free up bits of the breast and free up the nipple and mobilize it and push it all up and then close the skin. But you're just mobilizing the breast. You're not actually taking any breast tissue out. With a breast reduction, you're actually taking breast tissue out and you're isolating the nipple on a pedicle, on a stalk. So you're taking tissue from around the nipple and you're isolating that nipple and taking all the breast volume out from around there and then moving that nipple up. So it is a bigger operation of breast reduction because you're cutting away, you're taking out that breast tissue. We send that breast tissue for histology. So I'm getting into as breast reduction is a bigger operation, bigger recovery, and more expensive because you have to do histology on the breast tissue. It's routine, and also because you're isolating that nipple, there's more risk of problems with the nipple. Problems being nipple sensation altered and blood flow to the nipple being affected. Things like nipple loss is more of a risk with a breast reduction because you're actually isolating the nipple on just one stalk of tissue, whereas a breast lift, you're leaving all the tissue attached and just sort of mobilizing, just releasing it. So breast reduction is a bigger op, often more scarring, although the same pattern because more skin is removed and more risk of complications, wound healing problems, and what have you, because there's a bigger space there for swelling and hematomas, more cutting because you're cutting through breast tissue, so more risk of hematomas and things like that. So in generally bigger op, yeah, than a breast lift, but looks the same. So scar wise, looks the same. Khan, you're in. Will the uplift with the uplift? It's possible you'll end up drooping again in years to come. Yes. So what I would normally say is that stuff like breast lifts, same with facelifts, what we're doing is we're fighting gravity, and gravity continues to act on our bodies. So we're fighting it. So we're resetting you to a better place. So bring your breasts up to a better place, and that is a definite. So people think they're going to get the problem again. Well, they might get the problem again, but basically we're resetting you to a better place. So we're resetting the clock back, but the clock still is ticking. So we're resetting you to a better place, but we don't lock you in that place forever. Your body doesn't say, oh my God, she spent thousands of pounds on her breasts. We better not let gravity act on them. Gravity will still act on them from that point on. So they will, yes, I'm sorry to say, they will be acted on by gravity. Now, the two things that can really accelerate it, and the two things that really can do you in if you need a breast lift, is weight fluctuations, particularly putting on and losing weight and having children. Those are the two things that can accelerate your need for a breast lift. So if you're thinking of doing either of those things, don't have a breast lift. Because if you have a breast lift and then you put on and lose weight, or you have children, which does the same thing, makes your breast bigger and smaller, and that stretches the skin, they're going to droop quicker. So that's the first thing. Don't do those things if you can avoid it, because that's going to make them droop quicker. But even if you don't do those things, they still will droop over time. And it depends on how big they are. So the bigger they are, the more they're acted on by gravity. So that's why you might think, well, I'll have a breast reduction, so I'll take some volume. Particularly with a breast reduction, you take some volume out of the lower pole to make it less heavy, to make them less likely to droop in the future. But you've got to be happy being smaller. If you're happy with the size, then you might say, well, I'm happy with the size, but the bigger they are, the more they'll be acted on by gravity, and the more they'll droop in the future. That is a good question, Khan. You've come out with a good one there. You two crackers at the end there, Khan.